morning, good morning, good morning. It is Friday. What's today? Is it Friday, March 19th, 2021? Friday, March 19th, 2021, 9:33 a.m. I just want to speak briefly about the bullshit that's circulating throughout this nation as a result of these media platforms or media news networks, the propaganda that is being spewed about anti-Asian propaganda, which is bullshit with respect to Black Americans. They try to make it seem like Black Americans are hating on Asians, attacking Asians. It's just a propaganda campaign that has taken hold, that has gripped the nation's I'm sorry, hold on, I'm a little distracted here. That has basically taken over the airwaves. It's all bullshit. Black folks, particularly Black Americans, we don't hate Asians. We've always had a relationship with the Asian community, the Chinese community, the Korean community, the Japanese community. We've always had positive relationship with them. I mean, for decades. A lot of these Asians have moved into our neighborhoods, and started businesses, and we support them more than any other group, because they could not move into white neighborhoods. They couldn't move into white neighborhoods. White people didn't want Asians in their neighborhoods, so they moved to our neighborhoods. They moved into our neighborhood, and we accepted them, open arms. We gave them, we supported their businesses. We've always treated them like brothers and sisters. We supported their kung fu movies, Black folks, in the 70s and 80s, and we've always supported, we've always loved kung fu movies. I know as a kid when I was growing up, man, I used to love watching kung fu movies. We stay up late at night to watch kung fu movies. Like when there was a thing called the what was it called? It was called the Kung Fu Matinee. And it would, like, kung fu movies, you would stay up like late Saturday from like 12 to like 5, 6 in the morning, and it would just basically to show kung fu flick after kung fu flick. And we've always been supportive of, of the martial arts. We've always loved the Black community. We've always loved the martial arts, because we treated, the Chinese and the Japanese and Koreans as like our brothers. And we've supported their business from day one, and we still do. And what we get for that, we get our asses kicked. We get shot in the back. There are many cases. I mean, you could just look at throughout the years where Asians have attacked Black people. Have shot Black children in the back for allegedly stealing something. And even let's just say that some Black people did steal out of Asian stores. What's the problem? You have insurance on that stuff. A candy bar, a bag of chips, it's never greater than a human's life. And we've been supporting you guys for decades. So what's the problem if you lose a couple of bags of chips here and there? That doesn't mean you should shoot somebody, especially a child, in the back. We don't hate on Asians. We're some of the most empathetic group of people on the planet, black people, and particularly African Americans or black Americans. We haven't started the China flu. That was Donald Trump. That was other, that was people from the white community. I was watching this Jason Black. No, not Black Jason Black. The Black Professor Black Truth. And I shared that podcast last night. I sent it like to Facebook and to Facebook. I have to send it to Instagram and Twitter. But I shared that segment last night, and he was just saying, man, he was talking about how in recent years, I mean, just started from 2017, how many Asians have been killed by white people. But no one talks about that. They only want to say that black people are anti-Asian, black people are beating up on Asians, black people are, targeting Asians, which is bullshit. I mean, there may be a few, isolated incidences, where maybe some Asians were probably attacked by black people. But, I mean, there are incidents where black folks are attacked by Asians. I mean, we see it every day. I mean, it's video after video after video where, black women are beaten or jumped on and abused by Asian nail shop owners or beauty shop owners. I mean, and it'd be grown-ass Asian men jumping on black women for allegedly stealing something or for whenever, I mean, if you don't like a service and if it's not done right, then you got to do it right if you want your money. And there have been cases where black women have said they're not going to pay for a specific service because they don't like how their nails were done. And there are cases where they've asked the owners to redo their nails, but the owners refused. And they wanted to get paid, and their black ladies refused to pay because they didn't like the service, and they were jumped on, beaten up. The doors were locked, and they were beaten by the Asian shop owners. They moved to our neighborhoods. We support their businesses. For decades, we've been supporting their businesses, and it's the thanks we get, and this is how they repay us. This is how they show their gratitude. We've supported them politically, socially, and economically, and it's the thanks we get. This is how they repay us. This is how they express their gratitude. By beating up on our women and our children, shooting our people. But since 2017, Professor Black Truth, he basically he laid it out. He laid it out, case after case after case after case, where there have been incidences where Asians were killed by white people. They were targeted by white folks. And then just recently, 2-3 days ago, down in Atlanta, the white guy went to these massage parlors and targeted Asian people. And the reason why he did that, according to the police chief down there, was that the white guy, the white boy, the 21-year-old, I forget what's his name, Aaron something, he had a bad day, quote unquote. He had a bad day. That's why he did what he did. He specifically targeted Asian people. Asian people are targeted by white people. We didn't call it the China flu. White folks were calling it a China flu. Donald Trump started calling the coronavirus, COVID-19, the China flu. We didn't start that shit. We didn't start that. We didn't start saying that about, we don't attack Asians like that. No, man. But we're attacked. Black folks are attacked by Asians. Black folks are attacked by white folks. Black folks are attacked by a lot of other immigrant groups, Arabs, Jews. We are the number one target. We are the most hated group of people on the planet, the black race. And it's time that black people stand up and start fighting back and say, fuck that. Stop being empathetic toward other groups. If you don't have my back, then fuck you, I don't have your back. Like the Asians right now, they're under attack, but they're not under attack by black people. They're under attack by white folks. White people are targeting them. So let them hold their own nuts, like Tariq Nasheed said. Hold your own nuts. You're not there to defend us when black folks are being slaughtered in the streets and attacked by these race soldiers or by these white vigilante groups. You know, or whenever Asians kill black people or hurt black people, you don't see Asians in the street protesting against their fellow Asian for the bullshit or the mistreatment that they inflict upon black people. You don't see them protesting and saying that's wrong. And so hold your own nuts. What you're going through with white people, hey, deal with it. You want to be honorary whites, you want to be, the token whites or whatever, because they have been, a lot of them do think they're white, man. That they play their token cards, their white card, their white status, their buffer class status. They are the honorary race, A lot of them, they side with white society, but white society has turned on them. So I mean, if you wanna support white society, if you think that you're white yourself and you join the ranks with white society and attack black people, then so be it. I mean, hey, hold your own fucking nuts, man. When white folks continue attacking y'all and demeaning y'all and all that shit. Don't think white people love y'all like that. No, they don't. They'll say they love y'all and they treat y'all a lot better than they treat us, but they don't really like y'all either. You guys just a buffer class. It's all about the numbers, the numeric numbers. It's like, you have it's all about, it's about the numbers, man. And we know white their numbers are dwindling, their population is dwindling. So the more Asians or Hispanics or other immigrant groups they have on their side, on the white people's side, then that is basically, that's more of a shield for them. It's a way to keep your numbers up because they're not producing as rapidly as black population. So yeah, that's why black folks are under attack. We produce a lot faster, and we've always been considered the number one threat to this nation, to America. More than the Asians are, more than Hispanics, more than any other group, even more than Arab groups. And we're not responsible for 9/11 or for whatever, but that's another story. America got enemies in her own house, sleeping in her bed, that she allowed to come into her house, but we're looked upon as still the number one threat, and we are the most loyal group of people on the planet. Black Americans, we are the most loyal, more loyal than any of these immigrant groups they bring into this country. Black Americans have fought in every single American war, and we're still treated as second and third and fourth class citizens. They bring in a lot of these illegal immigrants. They allow a lot of these illegals to come in, and they are treated a lot better than black Americans. So we just have to stop being empathetic, man, to our detriment. We're empathetic to other groups to our very detriment, to our very demise. We've always opened our arms and our hearts to other groups of people, but it's never reciprocated. So that shit's got to stop, man. We got to look out for number fucking one, us. Just like every group look out for themselves, black Americans should look out for themselves. We have to look out for ourselves first and foremost, because other groups don't give a fuck about black Americans. There are other black groups, that come from Africa or the Caribbean or from wherever, Europe, and a lot of them don't give a fuck about black Americans. We're totally separate. We may look alike, but our way of thinking, our cultures are different. We are a unique group of people, black Americans. We are a unique group of people. We're different from other blacks. We may share African blood, but our mindset, our cultures, our way of doing things are, it's totally different. So yeah, I just think black Americans, we have to stop being empathetic to all these other groups and stop spending our money with all these groups, because we're basically financing our very non-existence. All this money we're spending at Chinese restaurants and Korean and Vietnamese nail shops or Korean beauty supply stores, we're just basically financing their future and financing our demise. That shit has to stop. Black people, we have to sacrifice. That's where it starts. Sacrifice. We have to sacrifice, man. So now we have to just go without. If it's not black-owned business, specifically or particularly black American business, then we shouldn't be spending our money like that. We really need to start opening up more stores. Black women and men should really work harder to open up more and more black beauty supply stores. Even though it's not as easy, because I learned that a lot of these Asian groups, a lot of these specifically Korean and Chinese groups, they have a monopoly on the beauty supply stores. Like I think they said like 85 to 86% monopoly. So they do everything within their powers to block or sabotage black-owned beauty supply stores. Because a lot of times they have access to the supplies too, and it's harder for black business owners of these beauty supply stores to work with Korean vendors or Asian vendors, because they refuse to sell because they want to basically put these black businesses out of business. So they have a stranglehold on the industry, man. And we could bankrupt their asses. We could turn the tides if we just learn how to work for self, work with each other, investing more into black businesses. Because if you don't appreciate us, then why should we spend our money with you? No. These more beauty supply stores and nail shops should be owned by black men and women. And that's what we have to do, man. We really have to do that. We really have to invest more back into our communities and shit. Try to visit as many black-owned stores as possible. It's going to take some sacrifice. You may have to just start learning how to do your own nails. And I think that's what it is. I think a lot of black women have learned during this COVID times or period. They've learned how to take care of themselves more, how to do their own nails and how to do their own hair and do each other's nails and hair. And I'm sure there's been an increase in nail shops too. I mean, black ownership. Because they're saying that a lot of these Asian stores have been hurting due to the coronavirus, because a lot of people, they stopped going to these nail shops due to the coronavirus. And it basically hurt a lot of Asian businesses too. And then a lot of them were forced to close down. A lot of businesses were forced to close down due to the coronavirus. And it really hurt more black businesses than any other demographics, But my thing is, man, this supposed black American or black people hating on Asians or have anti-Asian sentiment, that's bullshit, man. We don't hate like that. We don't hate people like that, man. Black folks are some of the most empathetic people on the fucking planet. We didn't drop no bombs on Hiroshima or Nagasaki. White people did that. We didn't get millions of Chinese addicted to opium. White people were responsible for that shit. We didn't attack Vietnam and killed over 2 million Viet Congs or Vietnamese citizens. white people were responsible for that. There were a lot of black people that protested the Vietnam War. Case in point, Muhammad Ali. He refused to go to Vietnam, even though he wasn't going to serve on the front lines, I was told. I guess he was going to be there for exhibition, just to conduct exhibition matches, which would have, used them as for propaganda. And he refused to even be used in that way. Because just being used in that way, it would have been detrimental to the Vietnamese people. And he implicitly implied that he's not going to go 10,000 miles around the world to kill another poor people. He said, if no Viet Congs have ever called me a nigger. So no, I refuse to fight this white man's war. We've always been empathetic and loving of our Asian brothers and sisters, or Hispanic brothers and sisters, or whatever, Arab brothers and sisters. And, once they come here, a lot of these people to come here, they get, they get our money. And once they build themselves up, economically, get their numbers up, then they start treating us like shit. But hey, it's our fucking fault. It's black people's fault. Black Americans' fault. We got to stand up for ourselves and say enough is enough, and we're not going to continue to finance you guys if you show no respect for us. So it is what it is. It is what it is. We're not responsible for putting Japanese citizens, Japanese Americans in internment camps. No, that wasn't us. That was white people. We didn't call them Japs. Racial epithets. Or chinks or whatever you want to call them, or gooks. We're that's white people. Those are words, terms made up by white people. Well, black folks, we're not responsible for these derogatory terms. You motherfuckers have the nerve to say that black folks, particularly black Americans, are anti-Asian. And I mean, like I said, you guys take a little this isolated incidences and say, oh, that's the norm. That's all black Americans. You may have a black American here or there, or a black person. It might not be a black American. Could be a black immigrant. But you're gonna blame all black people for isolated incidences or episodes or whatnot. And it's clear as day. I mean, from 2017 and before that. But like I say, Professor Black Truth, he just started pulling up case after case after case starting in 2017. Whereas, where it shows how white people have systematically targeted Asian groups or Asian people, killed them. They died at the hands of white people. Don't be going around targeting Asians and killing Asians. Not black people. We don't do that shit. Enough is enough. Take off the gloves and fuck them. We just got to start doing for self, man. Black people, we have to develop that mentality that we have to do for self. It's all about self-preservation, man. Self-preservation. We have to do for self. Fuck all these other groups. We don't owe them anything, man. Not anymore. Enough is enough. So, almost 25 minutes, going on 24 minutes, 10 seconds. So, that's it, man. I'm going to end it here. You guys have a beautiful weekend. I'm also keeping an eye on the Derek Chauvin trial. I was watching some of that this morning. And I guess they're not going to change the venue. It's going to stay here. And I learned that it will also be, the trial will start March 29th, which is cool. Because it was basically they were threatening moving it to a different venue and delaying the trial, which I'm glad they are not going to do that. So they were threatening, like I say, moving it to a different venue as a result of that settlement. I guess $27 million settlement that they had, that the family was awarded. I guess what they were saying is what the judge was saying this morning. I forget his name, the judge on the case, but the case was pretty much in jeopardy in terms of them changing the venue and delaying it due to the settlement, $27 million settlement with the family. So what they were saying is that city officials kept bringing that up, kept discussing the settlement, and there, some people were saying that could have possibly tainted the jury or tainted the case altogether, to the point where they would have been forced to change venues or delaying it. So it's just weird, man. And we're going to see. We're going to see what's going to happen with this case. I'm just going to keep an eye on this case and see how it's going to go, man. And I just hope that George Floyd gets justice, because it's weird, man. It's weird. They were saying stuff about he had drugs in his system, like methamphetamine, what's that other one? Fentanyl and all kind of bullshit, man. They were saying that the judge was saying that he said this morning that there's while he was in a back seat on May 25th, 2020, he was pulled out of the car, and there was like pills in the back seat, and it had his DNA on it, his saliva, and he also basically ate some of the damn pills and blah 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 blah, and that could have contributed to him, to his cardiac arrhythmia. He could have died from that, not from asphyxia, which is, come on, man, this bullshit, man. But we're going to see. I'm going to keep an eye on it. And I'm going to do another video on that. So, with that, I'm going to end this video. But no, black folks, specifically black Americans, hold on to your money, man. If these people can't appreciate us, stop spending money with them. I haven't eaten in a Chinese restaurant since probably 2016. So it is what it is. I stopped supporting Chinese restaurants even then, because I didn't like how they were. Because I've gone into restaurants and they were, I didn't like how they were speaking to the black customers from time to time, and then I didn't like some of the conditions. The restaurants were, not up to code, and no. So it is what it is. But anyway, let me end this video. Peace, love, and all that shit.